The sky outside is grey and dim. Rain patters lightly against the windows. The team is already gathered in the SCU, with files, photographs, and case notes strewn across the long central table. A map of Haigang glows on the screen, red pins marking each of the 7 disappearances. Liang Wei spoke to the team with calm authority. Every victim had ties to Wei Kong's subsidiaries, but all 7 disappearances occurred after they tried to withdraw from the projects or reported irregularities. This isn't coincidence, someone's silencing them.
Su Lian, quietly, flipping through his notes and said, "More than that, 5 of the victims were seen visiting the same private clinic 2 weeks before they disappeared. A shell facility. No digital record of its existence." He looks up, eyes locking with Liang Wei's. The atmosphere tense slightly. The click of a pen the only background noise.
Liang Wei murmurs thoughtfully. "Good work. That could be the link we need."
Zhao Chen, grinning from the corner, said, "Our genius strikes again. If we survive this case, I'm buying you dinner, Lian."
Su Lian smiles faintly. "You assume I'll accept."
Xu Ming interrupts, typing fast.
Accessing CCTV feeds around the clinic. Might take a few hours to bypass the firewall. Want a sandwich while you wait, boss?
Liang Wei ignores the joke, but his gaze flickers once more to Su Lian, something unspoken in the look. Later in the evening, rain has stopped. Liang Wei and Su Lian sit in an unmarked surveillance car outside the supposedly defunct clinic. Dim light flicker inside the building. They're alone, wrapped in silence and soft shadows.
Su Lian said, "You've been watching me lately."
Liang Wei was still watching the building, but said with a bit force, "Because you're reckless. You dive without thinking. I need to be sure you won't do something stupid."
Su Lian looked at him and said with straight face, "Or is it because you're getting interested in me?"
Liang Wei doesn't respond immediately. The air grows heavy. The line between concern and something more has begun to blur. Liang Wei's voice was low.
"This job doesn't allow weakness. Emotional ties make you slow, vulnerable."
Su Lian smirked slightly. "Then does this mean you have thought about that possibility?"
Their eyes meet. For a moment it feels like the space between them tightens, but before anything more can be said,
Xu Ming suddenly stated from the intercom. "Clinic has movement. Looks like someone's there."
the team assembles swiftly. Liang Wei leads the mission with Su Lian beside him, their movements silent and efficient. Zhao Chen and Lin Qian take the back, Jiang Kai and Xu Ming secure the perimeter. Inside the clinic, old medical equipment, broken tiles, strange stains on the walls. And in the basement, a surprise: files, blood-stained surgical tools, photographs of victims mid-procedure, names, dates, coordinates.
Lin Qian, staring at the wall of evidence, said, "This isn't just abduction. They were experimenting."
Su Lian looked disturbed and said while scanning the document, "These people were being tested, forced into clinical trials? Or worse, organ trafficking masked as experimental procedures."
Liang Wei was reading a document with fist clenched and said, "Funded by one of Wei Kong's dormant companies. We have him now. We have more evidence." Outside the clinic, the team regroups. Rain has started pouring again. The mood is grim but focused. As the others dispersed, Liang Wei and Su Lian remain in the car. Liang Wei quietly handed Su Lian dry towel from the car and said lowly, "You shouldn't be here in the field after the explosion. Your health?"
Su Lian stops him with a look. "I'm not made of glass. Don't treat me like I am." A long silence spread. Liang Wei looked away, jaw tight, and finally said,
"I'm not worried because you're weak. I'm worried because you matter." Su Lian freezes. Rain still trickling outside. Su Lian tried to hide the effect of these words, but there was no denying now.
Next morning at headquarters, everyone was busy. Xiao Ming walks in with coffee for Su Lian and places it on his desk with a bright smile. He said, "I thought you could use this. You looked exhausted last night."
Su Lian was surprised. "Thank you. I appreciate it," he said.
Liang Wei entered the room few minutes ago and saw the exchange, feeling irritated. His presence alone made Xu Ming to stiffen and awkwardly excuse himself. Liang Wei said flatly, "You get tired too easily."
Su Lian raised an eyebrow, asking, "Should I expect your care or criticism?"
Liang Wei said quietly, "Both."
Everyone was called to the briefing room. Su Lian outlined a psychological profile and proposes setting a trap. He believes the next victim is already being watched by the perpetrator. Using a decoy within one of Wei Kong's front companies, they'll lure out the contact, Su Lian said after explaining, "I'll play the bait. It's the most efficient way to draw them out."
Liang Wei responded sharply, "Absolutely not."
Su Lian was still calm and said in a whispered tone, "Because I'm right, or because you're afraid something will happen to me?" Liang Wei remained quiet.
Lin Qian, not knowing this talk, said, supporting Su Lian's idea, "The plan makes sense. We'll cover him, and you'll lead the field op. Liang Wei finally relents. The plan is set in motion. But as the team disperse to prepare, Liang Wei lingers behind, watching Su Lian as he walks away, his expression unreadable, but his chest tight.